Welcome back everyone to What's Kate Cooking. Today I am gonna go ahead and make the mini quiche or quiche that I mentioned when I made the green chili puree. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and get started on now. Now I am making again mini quiche. So I did preheat my oven to 375 degrees. So that's already in the works. Now I found so many different variations. So again, when I am going to make something, I will research just different recipes to get just an idea of what's going on with the recipe, of what I need. And so that's what I did with the mini quiche. I have made them before, but it's been so long, and it's not something I make regularly. So just again, kind of brushing up on it. I found for me, and again, I'm only going to be making 6 mini quiche, using between 3 to 4 eggs is what, was what the recipe's called for. So I'm going to use 4 eggs, and then I'm going to be using the Jimmy Dean hot sausage that I used the other day. Again, the rest of that green chili puree. I'm also going to throw in the mini quiche that homemade salsa, and then just a little bit of baby spinach. Not a whole bunch. Spinach can really be very powerful with its taste, so I don't want my quiche to taste like baby spinach. I just want that there. Mainly for the nutrients, it's good for you. But anyway, also some cheddar cheese and some heavy whipping cream, and then a cute little jalapeno slice as a garnish right there on top as it's cooking. So let's get started. I'm excited to see how these turn out. Start by cracking 4 eggs into this bowl here. And I've got my sausage cooking there. I am going to throw in this much and just a very small amount of that spinach here. I have read you do want to cook your vegetables to get some of the water out of them, or it can interfere with how the quiche cooks up. Now that does concern me, being that we're going to be adding in these green chilies, right? And I do feel that these green chilies did help make the eggs fluffier the other day. So I'm also going to be modifying the amount of heavy whipping cream I'm adding to these eggs as well. You know how I am with measurements, but this is about 2 tablespoons of salsa that I'm also adding in there, homemade salsa. Now for the cheese, it looks like it's going to be about half a cup. I am trying to be better about measuring for everybody, so there we go, half a cup of cheese. Now for the heavy cream, I had read so many different things. For one, you can use milk, heavy cream, heavy whipping cream, half and half, but it was like 1 egg, and then the ratio would be 1 egg and then half a cup of milk. I'm not going to add that much milk to these quiche. I'm really probably just going to add just a half a cup. And again, I'm actually adding heavy whipping cream. Let's also go ahead and get salt and pepper here. Now my son did make some bacon this morning. I thought about adding that, but I don't think I'm going to since I've got the sausage. But I am going to use the grease from the bacon to coat the cake pan, the mini cake pans for the quiche. Working on this sausage back here before I start to mix everything together. Just trying to get it a bit more crumbly and also let that spinach cook down. And yeah, that spinach really amounts to nothing once it's cooked. So just something to keep in mind just in general with spinach. If you're new to spinach, you want to use more if you want more in your recipes when you're cooking it, because again, it will cook down quite a bit, as you can see there. Okay, now we've got the sausage and the spinach ready. Let's come back here. We're gonna throw that in there as well. And again, I just want to make it clear, I really have no idea what I'm doing. Really just throwing all this together and seeing what happens. Like, this is not gourmet cooking. This is just, can this even be made? and I hope so. And then on top of that, well, I hope it's delicious in that process. We're just gonna mix all of this together. And what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna move the mixture for a moment. And here we have the bacon, the sheet it was cooked on. So I'm just taking that bacon grease and gonna coat these muffin cups. I think I call them cake, mini cake quiche, I don't even know. Yes, muffin cups. So just coating these, and you can see that really goes a long way. We've got it all mixed together now, and we are going to just, I'm using a 1/2 cup measuring cup. I'm going to just spoon it into the muffin cups. And if I'm not mistaken, you don't want to fill them all of the way. I think really you won't only want to fill them like 2/3 of the way, but I think I've already got off to a pretty overfilled start there. And apparently this is going to make more than I want or need. So let's see. And you do want to keep stirring that as you're filling these. Yeah, this is already making more than I'm wanting. So for me, this is a bit of a dilemma here. Let's see. And I do feel like these are maybe filled a bit too much, so I want to take some of that out. Okay, well, I guess we're just gonna have 2 batches. So just greasing the top there as well, because you know, they're supposed to kind of puff out. We don't want them to stick to the top. I'm ready to go into the oven, and I have been in a jalapeno mood lately, so I am just gonna place a jalapeno there on top of each one. And here we go into the oven, again at 375 degrees preheated for about, I think I read 20 to 25 minutes, or until golden brown and puffed over. All right. So here we go, the final countdown on those mini quiche. And as we can see, they look amazing. Does anybody else hate these massive gloves? Like, how do you even get anything out of the oven with them? Oh, there we go. Okay, so, all right, take a look at these quiche. They look amazing. Browned really well, although we all know I don't like that. But with a quiche, I will be okay with it. Let's take a look, because it looks like they're actually pretty browned. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let them cool for about 5 minutes, take them out. I'm gonna get that second batch put in, and then we're gonna do our taste test. Okay, so here we go with round 2. I do want to point out, we all know I don't like the brown on my eggs, and these are definitely browned. Way more brown than I'm assuming needs to be there. I don't like that. Here's kind of the inside of one of them if we want to see what that looks like. So they're cooked, and they're super cute, right? But I'm just not a fan of all that brown. So whoops, I totally dropped one. So I am going to turn the heat down to 350. I've already greased this, and I guess in a sense it was a good thing I had some left over, because we're just gonna, you know, fill these up and see what we get there. So just mixing the rest of that together. And again, already greased these. And filling them about 3/4 of the way full. And I'm sure, you know, you could sprinkle some cheese on top and let them cook with the cheese on top versus into it. And then here we go with just those jalapeno garnish on top. And now back into the oven again, did decrease that heat to 350. I'm also going to be baking them on the top rack. So not that lower rack there, but the top rack, and hopefully that will make a difference. And then these will also cook for 20 minutes and then check back in. So again, here we have the quiche. It's super cute. Let's go ahead, and I want to cut it open and just show you guys what it looks like inside there. Now let's try it. Not fond of all that brown, but let's see. They're good. I love how you can see just some cheese, you know, melted throughout the quiche there. So actually, yeah, not bad at all. They're pretty good. I'm trying to see if I can taste the green chili. There's just a hint of it. It's pretty good. Not bad. Let's see how the next ones come out. About a minute left on these, and I'm gonna go ahead and just pull them out now. And the reason being is because I can already tell they're starting to brown on the top. They look really delicious, but I don't want them to end up as brown as these guys over here. So I want to just check. Oh yeah, these are a lighter brown, which is nice. So these are done, and if you're wondering, well, how do I know if my quiche is done? It's just kind of like the cake test, right? Or the brownie test, where you stick a knife in there, and if it comes out clean, mostly clean, you're good. Just gonna kind of make sure. Or of course you can always temp them. Let's go ahead and do that as well. So definitely hotter than they need to be for sure. That guy over there, yeah. And again, these were cooked on the top rack for almost 20 minutes at 350 and instead of 375. The bottom row, you can definitely tell, are the first batch. Now see, the second batch didn't completely brown all the way around. Definitely more a fan of the second batch. I have not tried those yet, but I'm sure they're delicious. And then again, just how wonderful they look when you cut them in half. So there we have today's breakfast, the mini quiche, utilizing the rest of that green chili puree. Now, let's take a look at what I did for dinner today. Boiling a couple of yesterday's leftover chicken thighs with its broth. And I do like to point out, when using the celery, I really like to use the leafy parts, and of course a few of the stalks, but I definitely include the leafy part in my soup. I also added onion and garlic to our chicken broth. So we've got this on a high heat, and just bringing it to a boil. And I'm just going to turn it down now to low and let it all kind of simmer before I add the cabbage, the frozen mixed veggies. And I think that's all. And I'm going to debone that chicken and remove the skin. But leaving it there for now for the flavor. So this piece of chicken we're going to de-skin, which as you can see was just that easy. And I do throw this away. It's good when it's nice and crispy. Other than that, I don't want it. and I definitely don't want that in my soup. And so here now we have the chicken thigh with the bone still in it. And if you just press against that, it should be tender enough to break that chicken up from the bone. And I do like to be mindful, there are, you know, certain pieces like this piece here. Let's see. Yeah, that I wouldn't, wait, no, that's okay. But there are pieces, you know, of chicken that essentially stand out that I wouldn't want to eat. So I do try to make sure I get those removed. But as you can see, the chicken is just coming off of that bone pretty easily. And I just wanted to show you how simple that is. And essentially making chicken vegetable soup homemade. So I'm just going to continue to let all this cook and continue to remove that chicken from the bones. And then again, add in some cabbage, frozen veggies, and even maybe some of the rice we had left over from last night's dinner. Quickly going back to those funky pieces I was trying to describe earlier, here is one of them. Yeah, I don't want to eat that. I don't want my guest to eat that. Whoever's eating my soup, I don't want them to chew on that. So that is what I'm trying to make sure I remove from the chicken from the soup. I'm also going to add some water and then again bring it all to a boil and add those other ingredients. And obviously remove the bones. Some water brought it back to a boil. Going to turn it down now, but I am also adding the cabbage. Probably about 2 cups uncooked cabbage. Also adding some mixed vegetables, peas, corns, carrots, green beans. And I have been continuing to salt and pepper. Now we usually just have vegetable soup, so it'll be nice and just a variation to have the chicken vegetable soup today. And I did debone it, so it's good to just simmer for a bit and be eaten. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out as I explore these recipes and just kind of make do with whatever I've got there. So thank you for just hanging out and experimenting with me. Hope to see you back here for day 4, where who knows what will Kate be cooking.